the den of iniquity. Vicinity no pretty, calamity fi hit we any moment. What a pity, tomorrow never certain. What dwells behind the curtain? The face of evil lurking with that shifty eyes averting. It's not a steady bubble that either pop or topple. Many will fall and stumble. Let the dozers gather rubble. From LA to Colorado, Guinea to Burkina Faso. Cannons could reach the towers and the troops will storm the castle. I say, run, run, come, make we get it. Because the peace that is bestowed upon the meek is overrated. So run, run, come, make we get it. Calling all your daughters and your sons, we come forget it. I say, run, run, come, make we get it. Because the peace that is bestowed upon the meek is overrated. Lord, run, run, come, make we get it. Calling all your daughters and your sons, we come forget it. With the rubble steady rising, and hearts are compromising. Convictions here are stifling, making evil appetizing. The fists are steady forming, and countenance is falling. Defenses are withdrawing, possibilities are falling. In these your circumstances, evil will make advances. Pick up your sword and lances, and be sure to take your stances. Victory is never promised, the battle is upon us. Gather the brave and honest, and the righteous in your corners.
Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome. My name is Ike. Welcome to my channel. Welcome to another episode of Case Closed. Let's get one thing out of the way. As you come in, click that like button, click the share button. Share on YouTube and on all other social media apps and text messages, if you will. Okay, send an email out. Okay, share the link on an email and click the subscribe button if you have not already. Click that bell button twice. We have all heard about Amber Heard and the turd that she left on the bed of Johnny Depp. Now, just a few smattering of facts here. Okay, Amber Heard accused Johnny Depp of being abusive. Okay, of being abusive and toxic, and of just generally being a problem, being the problem. Okay, there has been no evidence of this. As a matter of fact, there's been evidence of the opposite happening, evidence of Amber Heard punching and being emotionally abusive and psychologically abusive. Johnny Depp has allegedly lost some cash, movie roles as a result of this. And there are many things that come to light as a result of this case that's a spectacle right now. And one of the big questions is, well, did Johnny Depp and by extension men put themselves in this situation, right? Okay, let's blame the victim is what I'm saying. I'm saying it's blame the victim time. I'm ready to blame the victim and say it's your goddamn fault for letting yourself be taken advantage of, generally speaking. However, shout out. We have all-star panel so far, bright and early, getting into this thing. We got LAR movement. You already know what it is, needs no introduction. We got Dana in the building, and she allegedly has the data. Okay, that's what she claims. She claims she's got that data. And we got Dr. Thunder in the building. I hope everyone is doing well. Again, as you come in, click that like button. I want to start out like this, okay? Just a simple question. Starting out with Dana, LAR, and then Dr. Thunder. Why is this case getting so much attention besides the sensationalism and the great stories about, her being a chocolate factory on his bed and all those interesting things? What are some of the things that people are highlighting about this case that's out there in the zeitgeist? Or what does it mean to you that this case is getting all this attention? Dana.
Can you hear me?
Yeah.
You could? Okay. Wait a minute. Why I sound like this? First of all, LAR, I work out, honey. I goes to the gym, and this is cute. Don't play with me. That's why I'm working out. That's number one. Number two, they getting attention because they're white and he got money and he's paying for it and it's not coming out the taxpayer dollars. And they need for us to be distracted from everything else. And Americans, we love drama, soap opera, and BS. We love the bullshit.
Okay, cool. So this is mainly about sensationalism, and now at its finest, and we'll get one layer deep after when we get to the next round of questions. But LAR, is it all just sensationalism, or is there something else going on here? Why and what's going on out there? Why are people talking about this so much?
In essence, I think this is the state versus MeToo. because you know a lot of these accusations and allegations cost a lot of people money, and before these corporations pay out, they're going to make these accusers pay out, and she's kind of the front runner to see how this is going to go. So that's just my opinion of that.
Okay, cool. So you think that this swinging of the pendulum in this particular way, in which it seems, she obviously is the one that everyone's like, oh, she's the bad guy in this case, right? And that this is, hey, the corporate people saying, look, before we, this is about real money here, okay? Sure, believe all women and all that, but when it comes to settling the accounts, we're going to have to hold some people accountable here. Okay, well, Dr. Thunder, what do you have to say about this case? Why are people saying all these things about it? Any interesting facts going on here?
Well, primarily it's because Johnny Depp is a huge star. He's a big star. And, this kind of stuff is probably pretty dime a dozen. All kinds of goofy stuff goes down in people's relationships, but we don't hear about it because they're not, they're not big stars. Also, they don't have enough money to purchase. What is it? Conscious. What is it? What's the term for? What is it? Perspective altering drugs. What's the
psychedelics? Consciousness altering.
Yeah. They don't have quite as much money to purchase drugs at that level to cause them to do such totally ridiculous and crazy stuff. It also tells you how out of touch Hollywood sort of folks are. And we have another situation that's trending, that continues to trend, the Will and Jada thing. Same sort of situation, all of this money and attention, and how it sort of just, I think, warps people. And I think everyone has the potential to be crazy. You disproportionately see crazy people in Hollywood. So,
okay. So crazy people are out there. We all remember growing up. I don't know, when we had our job at McDonald's at Taco Bell, and then there was the guy with the crazy girlfriend, right? Whom, did all kinds of crazy stuff. And if we had a camera following most of y'all, 24/7, okay, out there, we would see some crazy stuff. Okay. So there are ways in which we're saying that this is kind of outside the norm. But let's get back to you, Dana. Now, what aspects of this are, shall we say, part of the norm? What aspects of this is something that we could say is representative? If you want to say at all, okay, well, this is good journalism because it's a highlighting or representing particular aspects of blah, blah, blah. What are those aspects, those commonalities, if you will, that cuts across the life of the average person vis-a-vis this case?
What do you mean?
Is there anything about this that is kind of representative of the experience of the common man going through court?
Well, Johnny Depp
battles?
is wealthy, so it's nothing. The common man wouldn't have the money to countersue or sue his ex, whatever.
Well, so you're saying it's kind of so it's kind of like worse for the. Because
I think what he's doing. I guess regular people could use this case as if he wins, as something for their case, but he has the money to lay it all out. He has this costs millions of dollars. So an average person don't, they don't have the means that this man has. So in one way, if he wins, it's kind of like, okay, I could use this case for my case, as far as a judge making judgment, but every person case is different. But if you don't have the money for the lawyers and the time and the investigations and stuff, you still, it doesn't matter. Like this is wealthy people drama. This is rich people drama. It's a difference from regular folk.
Okay. Yeah. Now, this is an interesting point that you bring in here, in the sense that, okay, there are other ways in which the legal proceedings would have gone if, when you don't go out there and compete and countersue. Other ways in which, things would have been settled right?
Well,
And you're
if
saying,
it was a regular person, the woman probably wouldn't have sued because she knows the man doesn't have anything. That's why a lot of times women sue their employer, the company, because they have money. So
mhm.
Amber knows, yeah, he's worth X amount. So I could get some money out of this,
Excellent point. Now back to LAR with the money. Them suing the companies or them suing where money is typically what you do when you sue. Why would you waste your time otherwise, right? It's kind of crazy. Something which I kind of experienced being in the construction industry, right? And you have all these different it's a dangerous kind of gig, right? In terms of, in the job site and then after the thing is built. Okay, we all know about the bridges or the hotel lobby that dropped, all those things that happen, right? And if you happen to be like, I don't know, like a ladder company, that it's the billionaire company there, and your ladder was there on the site, okay, like it's everybody's getting sued, right? And typically they'll target the person with the biggest pockets. So we get it. LAR, and that hinges with the point that you talked about earlier, being that this is the corporation saying, hey, we're gonna push back a little bit. So answer the question which is on the table right now. Is there anything that is commonplace about this event, or is it all just fringe Hollywood big dollar stuff?
What's commonplace is a man getting fired off of an accusation. And so I think the common men can look at it and like, this is just a public trial of a man getting fired from an accusation that turned out not to be true. There are plenty of guys who've lost their job like this. There are plenty of people who didn't have anybody to sue after it was all over because of the believe all women trope. So this is kind of like I hate to say it this way, this is the O.J. Simpson trial of women lying on men to cost them money.
So, Dr. Thunder, what's commonplace about this case?
Yeah, the accusation component is common. Most men don't have the financial, don't have the resources to be able to bite back, to clap back rather, and I think one of the reasons why, a lot of men are, though this is crazy, and I don't know that men are necessarily condoning his behavior in general, but the fact that this dude is clapping back and has exposed this woman as lying about all kind of stuff. I think that's been a positive, outcome of this pretty wild and crazy sort of scenario. But that's really what's different is he's got money. Okay.
Yeah. Something you mentioned and something Dana mentioned earlier seemed to click with me or are related in the sense that Dana said, hey, somebody may come and use this as some kind of precedent. You didn't say that exact term there, Dana, but now that he has done this stuff, okay, someone can be like, hey, here's the case law, Johnny Depp did this, we all remember. And then now you're saying, Dr. Thunder, from the social aspect, it's kind of sets a social precedent, like, hey, we all know what Amber Heard did, right? Oh, like we all have now somebody to point to. You can be like, oh yeah, my woman, she's a Amber Heard. Like, oh, yeah, okay, yeah, I understand. Okay, and now everyone's gonna be an Amber Heard all of a sudden. But which is another thing coming down the pike now. But let's get down to the meat of the issue, because I'm saying, okay, that look, men have a big amount of shall we say accountability that they have to kind of accept here, especially being men, in the sense that no one is gonna come save you, right? That's why. That's the big thing why accountability is a must with men, because no one's gonna save you if you don't take responsibility for stuff and fix it, right? Doesn't matter who started it, doesn't care. It doesn't matter whose fault it is, okay? Doesn't matter who hit you with the truck. You got to do some physical therapy, right? I'm going through that myself right now. I did some kind of crazy stuff with my it's my freaking ankle. Or the heel, right? Some bicycle stuff, tearing Achilles heel types. You can imagine it hurts. It's crazy, but you got to do the physical therapy regardless of whose fault it was that caused that. So let me ask a crazy kind of question here, okay, Dana? what role have men played? Did men allow themselves to get kind of put into this particular corner? You can take it from the particular case or any particular case that, hey, this particular man, Johnny Depp, or any particular man who finds himself in this situation with some crazy lady, okay, suing him or being a baby mama terrorist to him or whatever it is, the stories that you hear out there, he has some role to play in it. Dana, what do you have to say about that?
Yeah, honey. who pressed the button? Dr. Thunder, because he loved pressing them sound buttons.
Mhm.
And he was on cue this time. Yes, they do. That's why women do it, because y'all allow it from the door. Y'all allow for women to be manipulated, and before she gets, a lot of times women don't have to manipulate men. Y'all so fascinated, especially if she's attractive. Amber Heard's attractive. She a witch, literally, because you know that's a religion practice in Hollywood, honey. We could talk about that later in the show, but Johnny Depp is too. He's into that witchcraft stuff as well. That's how they came together. But she's very attractive. So, you know, and she's 20 years his senior. So that's the bait. That's how women get the older men, you know, with old long money. And so y'all fascinated with the beauty and everything. She don't have to do much manipulation. You spoil her, blah, 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 lifestyle. So yeah, y'all allow it. And then you don't cover your ass because he married her. And I think they had a post prenup. I'm not sure. But, you know, even with when they was getting a divorce and the money he was giving her that was supposed to go to charity, she agreed to. And I guess she had second thoughts. So she had to come up with a scheme or whatever. Anyway, yes, y'all allow it. That's why women do it. This has been going on for centuries. So you have yourself to blame. And it's not going to stop.
It's not going to stop. Interesting. Because we're going to get to some nitty-gritty aspect of it that could reverse things that could change in terms of, let's say, the law, like certain buttons that could be pushed and unpushed, right? But I do agree, simping will not stop, right? Simping started in the Garden of Eden, okay, with Adam, okay.
But I wouldn't even call it that. Like I think people like try to use that word to like to make it sound so negative. Like, how you expect to get some ass if you ain't coming out of pocket? How you expect 100%. To get cooperation, you know, of any type of cooperation if you're not coming out of pocket?
100%. So let me, and then I'll move on to LAR real quick here. Now that is 100% true. Okay. There's a difference though. And we don't want to get into this particular rabbit hole. There's an understanding, okay, that the world is transactional, right? So I 100% understand that with you. But the point is, some people are stupid. Some people don't cover themselves, and some people, you get what I'm saying, right? that's where simping comes in. But Mr. LAR, right? How did men get themselves into this? How did you find yourself in this particular situation? Is this what Dana is saying out there? What Dana mentioned is powerful. It is true. It is not going to change. Okay. But what do you have to say with regards to men's accountability and responsibility with this whole situation here?
I think white men didn't think that they could be lynched financially.
Let's go.
That's I'm about to steal that, honey. I'm about to steal that line. And I'm gonna put it as the title on a video.
Stop it, please.
Financial lynching. Okay, let's go. Continue.
But I think this was something that always happened. A woman has always lied on men, and men use the legal system to drop the hammer on the guy who got lied on. I just think at this particular juncture in life, white men are surprised that I can't believe Guinevere would do it to me. Well, you open this Pandora's box. Guinevere want that change. You done already stiffed her multiple times in the United States of America. So she want her Me Too. I was your wife during slavery. I should have got some Jim Crow payments money. So guess what's about to happen? You touched her too. So I just, and ironically, I think that white America is putting this on Front Street because they're really trying to swing the pendulum back the other way by using this type of stuff as evidence. But yeah.
Okay, so Dr. Thunder, I think LAR is putting it on the table here that the corporate America, or now white America, and essentially the same thing, well, Money America, whatever it may be, right, wants to push back a little bit on the Me Too narrative, tamper things down a little bit. Let's have like a public little thing to be like, hey, and it all goes back to money, right? Because hey, you can't be effing with the money too much like that. They're surprised. This financial lynching was something that was new to them. I'm actually writing it down too, LAR. So, but Dr. Thunder, what do you have to say to the whole premise of men's responsibility here? How did men get themselves into this situation?
Yeah, I mean, you have to protect yourself. These days, that's the name of the game. You got to protect yourself. And, you know, I counsel my students to protect themselves. You know, I protect myself on campus even. You know, there's goofy stuff that can go down.
Oh, you practice the Mike Pence rule, or what are the rules you're out there?
I mean, something like that. I mean, there's a lot
what's the Mike Pence rule?
Mike Pence is only in the room with the female if someone else was in the room with him.
Oh, that's common practice now. That's HR across the board, and even a doctor's office. That's
he said it a long time ago. That's why it's got like he was like one of the first to kind of like, this is my rule.
Do it. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. But you know, even stuff like, you know, I teach a lot of one-on-one lessons. So stuff like having the door open. Actually, it sort of got my YouTube career started because I started videoing all of my lessons, and then I started clipping the lessons and posting them, and people dug that. That actually was what got my YouTube thing started. But I didn't do it really to post videos. I did it to watch myself teaching, to improve as a teacher, but also to protect myself from allegations. You know, so yeah, you got to protect yourself. And if you get into a he said, she said, the court's going to side with she said. That's just what it is, unless you have some other evidence. And so I've tried to make it a policy of always having that other evidence.
Okay, now there are many things that are not going to change about this, but there's one aspect which I talked about earlier which could change, which is the law. Okay, now let's start with Dana here again with regards to any laws. Okay, because men are out there putting themselves in this situation, they're not protecting themselves. Now there are things that they could vote for, things that they could overturn, or now what I'm asking here is a general question. I'm not a legal expert. Shout out to the lead attorney, he is in the chat. Okay, is this a question of the law or question of enforcement of the law? Okay, if that makes sense. And what could men actually do? Because sometimes people are like, oh, this new law changed that law, but sometimes it may just seem it's a question of who gets believed, right? And it's not a law about who gets believed. It's just someone's going to be believed more often than others. What can actually be done in the legal arena, Dana, to the extent that you know, to change things, to bring more balance or fairness?
I mean, the law is the law. So a defamation suit, you have to prove that it was defamation. So it's not a defamation law. It's more like, can you prove that this person defamed you? And this is what this trial is about. My question is, it's a whole bunch of recordings of personal conversations. So maybe the one smart thing Johnny did was press record on his cell phone. But I'm like, she was recording conversations. He was recording conversations. And I'm like, that's crazy. You know, what this trial is revealing is how things that people do in relationships that are a little bit insane and unnatural. Yeah, he has it's 2 weeks of just his defense and witnesses and recordings and videos, butlers finding fingers, personality disorders. So it's not a law that I don't think that this judge has to measure her judgment on. It's about, can he prove that he was defamed? And now he's laying out all the proof. And I actually asked the judge about this. I have to pull him into celebrity BS because he doesn't like it. And he really doesn't care. But he was like, all that extra stuff really doesn't matter. but there are certain elements that you will have to prove that he, I guess, lost money because of the op-ed and everything that follows after that, against him. That's it. But he has the money and the resources to drag it out to bring every little thing in. And I think one of the reasons why, because they're in Hollywood, making it the cameras in the courtroom that the public to see, he's being villainized all over social media. Now, the judge, and it's a jury, and I don't think the judge is going to make the actual judgment because they have a jury in this. But the fact is that the outside perception should not affect the judgment, but it does play a part. And so I think he knew what he was doing and how to do it. But again, he has the money to do so. So if it was us, regular people, it would kind of be, it would be totally different. It would probably be a court proceedings for a week and more cut and dry. But I'm not going to hold this case up as the one that, the blueprint that men can use if they come up with this situation, because it's just, it's different. It's on a different level, if you know what I mean.
All right. Now we're gonna go to LAR real quick, but okay. And LAR, okay, the question on the table is what can be changed. Now Dana just kind of laid down on the table that, with regards to the specific of the case, which is a defamation thing, you have to prove the facts, and he's out there laying out the evidence. He did recording. She highlighted all the craziness that it exposes, which we're not strangers to. So we all know that we're all crazy, and that craziness gets exposed in relationships. Okay. And as I mentioned earlier, if we put a camera on some of y'all's lives following y'all around, it'll be a disaster, a total disaster out there. Okay. But with regards to this case being a poster child or an exemplar of the kinds of things that may be seen as an injustice or unfairness to men, and what can be done about it, that this case is not particularly amenable to that, shall we say, comparison. But Mr. Ramil Amer is in the building, right? And I just want to ask you the first quick question here. Why do you think this case is getting so much attention, Ramil? Is it all just sensationalism and big money and chocolate factories on beds and all kinds of drugs and craziness? Why is this case getting so much attention? What are the people talking about it? Why are people talking about it so much?
Yeah, what's going on? Thanks for having me. The reason why this case is getting talked about so much is because it's taking the veil off of the women are angels thing. We live in the blue pill world, and the world still thinks women don't lie. Believe all women, all that type of bull crap. What this is exposing is the flaws in that type of thinking. That's why it's so big, because, oh my gosh, she actually did lie. Oh, she actually did not get the money she said she was going to donate. What? We thought women were perfect. So, and there's no denying it. Like, you got the recordings and all the other stuff. So it's like, that's why, and it's Johnny Depp. Like, Johnny Depp is a, super A-list. Like, we're talking about the top of the top in Hollywood. He's going through this. So it's actually giving credence to a lot of quote-unquote manosphere points, if you want to go that, if you want to use that word. But that's why it's getting so much attention, because the bitch lied, and you can't get around that. No way around that. You know what I mean? So
so you're saying, okay, it's killing certain people's fairy tales, because there's always going to be people born. There are people born every day, and they're going to be growing up, okay, and they're going to need to have somebody burst that bubble or red pill them at some point, right? So you're saying this is just another red pilling moment. In this particular case, people are being red pilled with regards to women being angels. To the degree to which anyone has that fantasy, you're seeing some example now. And obviously, this is a very extreme type witch, such that I don't necessarily even think that people are going to see that, all of a sudden assume that, that many women do this. But I see your point. Now back to LAR. But I don't know. Did you want to react to that? Ramil?
No, I think it is. We talking about Amber Heard is not she's not a small actor. I think this is gonna have. It's not gonna have of course, it's not gonna change the world or anything, but it is going to. Like, there are people at the ACLU trying to tell the ACLU not to get behind it, because it's gonna mess up the quote unquote woman's plight. You know what I mean? it's gonna have some. It's gonna talking about Johnny Depp here, so it's gonna have some effect. You know, we're gonna see. You know, the white folk. We're talking about white people now. You know, I mean, they got pulled. So.
All right. Ladies and gentlemen, by the way, feel free to super chat, ask those questions, make those comments about men's accountability in this. Is this a case to be using as an example, for some of these areas of legal unfairness, or is this something else? But LAR, and click that like button, by the way, as you come in. Click the like button. For those of you who have not subscribed, click the subscribe button, okay? And we are here, case closed, every Sunday, 4 p.m. Eastern time. Could be my channel, could be some other channel, okay? But just watch out on your dial, on your YouTube dial. LAR, okay? What can be done, okay? What can be done with regards to, now you can go tangential. It doesn't have to be the particulars of the case. I think Dana has given us the particulars of the case, being defamation and all that kind of stuff. But in terms of the law at all, is there anything men can do? Because I just kind of laid out some difficulties that, hey, even if it may not be a question of changing the law, if people believe women more than men, that's not a law thing, okay? If money helps you to hire people and then to win more, that's not a law thing, okay? That's something else. What can be done legally, structurally, systematically, or system-wise for men to start seeing some more fairness?
I don't think that could be answered until after the judgment is rendered, because a guy can win a case in the court and wind up getting stiffed in the judgment just because of, let's just say, blue pill chivalry. I think what this is putting out is, can a man win in the court of public opinion and gain money now? Because you can lose money in the court of public opinion before you even get to court. So is Hollywood going to try to reimburse him for what they did because he lost in the court of public opinion? And is Hollywood going to penalize her with her career because she got where she got to this point in the court of public opinion and she lied? Because I think Jason Momoa was like, get rid of her for the next Aquaman.
Well, it's a petition, and 2 million people signed a petition for her to be removed from that movie as well. So I don't know if Hollywood, the people in charge of the movie, are going to take it seriously or not.
Yes.
If there were 2 million signatures on something against a man related to anything similar to this, that cat would get taken off.
Yeah.
100%.
But I do think
need 100,000 signatures.
Right. But I do think that 2 million is nothing to sneeze at. But I wouldn't be surprised if she is still in.
Can I ask y'all, have y'all heard the audio of they played earlier in the week when he was on a stand of her crying? Why are you leaving me? Why are you hurting me? Because he was like, I need my space. Just leave me alone. I need some space. I will see you later on tonight. Just give me my space. Just leave me alone. And she's like, what are you doing? Why are you doing this to me? Don't you see I'm in pain? Why are you doing this to me? Why are you poking me with the stick? Y'all didn't hear that audio? Okay,
I didn't hear that.
Okay, y'all haven't been watching it, honey. Like, I be glued to it now. I go to Igno channel because he plays it live all day. And I'm like, yo, this bitch, she really bonkers. Like, yeah.
And we're gonna get to the. Okay, go ahead, Ramiro. Go ahead.
I just want to answer that question you asked real quick as far as what can men do on a systematic level. And this is the problem. This has been my problem, especially with black men. I tell you what we can do. It's not going to happen. I don't think black men understand the depths of being on code. Like, first of all, other groups of people, like black women, have institutions to protect their interests. Black men can't even work together to do their own institutions or anything. There should be non-profits for this type of stuff, all lined up. Now the thing is, we've our hands are tied up helping females with their institutions, right? Because for some reason we cannot create our own institution, non-profit that's supposed to protect you like everybody else. Stop Asian hate, non-profit, right? Black Lives Matter, nonprofit, but you know they got that bag and left. But black men, solely black men, it's like we can't do it within ourselves. But ain't no pussy involved or anything like that. And that's why it's not going to happen. Men just don't work together like that. We're just not.
I agree with Ramel.
So yeah, I think Dana, you already mentioned earlier, you know, the main source of this, the main part that's never going to change is the part that, you know, men are going to be out there getting women, and women are going to be taking advantage.
Let me ask y'all men this question now, because this case, y'all really need to be examining this. Now, how is dating going to look for you guys? Because first of all, like I said before, who's doing a recording? You got her recording some of the conversations. He's recording it, right? To cover his ass. But who does that in a relationship? However, it's playing out in his favor right now. So all your past relationships that you men had, if y'all actually recorded the episodes that a woman had with you and she tried to sue you, boom, wouldn't she look crazy in court? So is that a thing now that we should be recording our interactions with our significant other?
Every bitch I deal with is recorded. Yes, because you never know what can happen a year from now, 5 years from now. It's 2015. Every text message, every video.
You gotta have cameras in your home.
I got cameras. I don't give a fuck. I'm not trusting.
But you just for guess. I have a camera, and when my friend come over, he was like, "Can you turn the camera off?" Because he get nervous, and I'm like,
"Oh well, can't perform. Oh well, guess the next nigga can get it." Fuck that. Everything camera right now, dog. Everything is recorded, dog. In this day and age, people play too much. People play too much, man. Are you camera shy? Oh well, shit.
Oh yeah, that's part of your Tinder thing now. Like, hey, you know, better not have stage fright.
I just want to say this last point. So what the regular man who don't have Johnny Depp long money, you have to start acting like celebrities. Bow Wow, he said when females come in his house, they got to give her cell phone to security. You know. So you really have to have cameras. You really need to have recordings to cover your ass if you have somebody coming into your space.
I'm going to say something, and then I'm going to have Dr. Thunder and LAR answer the question on it, by Dana with regards to recordings and things like that. 100%, Dana. I agree with kind of if indeed I had recorded. I mean, there are different text messages that are there that look crazy, right? But recording certain things from the past, right? Like back in, I don't know, 2008, 2009, when we weren't really recording like that. I think people were getting wilder back then in the MySpace era,
I want LAR to answer that question, because LAR, if you had recordings of your child's mother from when she had her little episodes, you probably would have had your son long time ago. Like, it just would have, the judgment was like, you take him, miss, you need to go check yourself in the hospital. Am I correct? Like,
I got him now. Truth be told, I'm going to say this just in a blanket sense. I think women are about to find out Amber Heard is normal from what men deal with. So just call us Spielberg, Bruckheimer, Spike Lee. We're going to be all day filming y'all, because as a general population, I don't think people are looking at, and I might be wrong for saying it, I don't think men are looking at Amber Heard like, wow, I never knew. They're like, yeah, I dated a girl like that last week and last month and 6 months ago and a year ago. Yeah, it's pretty, yeah. You can see all of the exes in your life have a little or a lot of hurt in her. But, just my point of view.
Dr. Thunder, well, what's your answer to this? What have you experienced? What are the Amber Heards out there? And it is true. And because women don't experience other women in relationships, so they don't necessarily see the kinds of things the extremes, right, of women's emotions that come out. But go ahead, Dr. Thunder.
Yeah, I have a playlist. One of them is anybody can watch, but the rest of them you have to become a channel member to watch. But it's called Blue Pill Testimonials, and there's 10 episodes on there. And I'm not trying to throw anybody under the bus or anything, so I didn't I didn't use names or places or anything like that. But yeah, I've had some pretty funky experiences. In one of these weeks, it seems like it was a couple weeks ago or something, I divulged that based on some erratic and wild and crazy behavior, someone that I dated in the past, I actually spent a night in jail. So now I imagine if I had recorded, videoed the events, I wouldn't have spent a night in jail. It wouldn't have happened. So, something probably would have happened to her, because she was, I had a studio in the house or in the apartment, and she went in the studio and was starting to,
trashed
throw
all that
stuff
shit
around and ransacking and stuff. And so yeah,
That's the worst thing you can do.
So that
Why
would have been
didn't you
on video.
record her and call the cops?
Well, but that's my point. And
those are like camcorder days, right? He had to like bring in the
That's
whole
right.
range, like
Oh,
over the
oh,
shoulder.
I just would have been like,
Flip phone.
911.
That's
Hold
another thing
up.
too. Start calling the police too,
I
man.
was like, excuse me, I have a burglar in my home. They're stealing my studio equipment.
Yeah, the police is my
Oh, my
best friend
goodness.
now. I had called the police like about a month and a half ago. Please escort this unruly peasant off my property. You know what I'm saying? You paying property taxes. I call the police now. You pay, they double my property tax. Oh yeah, I'm calling the police. Yes, she don't want to leave.
Yep.
She gotta leave.
And
Okay.
I have may have dated someone that was chemically imbalanced and was a little Jekyll and Hyde kind of situation. But
She
once
was on
I
a
figured
coke?
out that, that was the case, I vacated the premises.
Well,
And
was
that
she
was
on
the
a
end of that.
cocoa?
No, she went on a cocoa. She needed something to get her off the cocoa.
Do you know what cocoa
Well,
means?
yeah, I know what cocoa is. She was
I'm
not.
in love.
Yeah, she was not. She was not on the cocoa. She was cuckoo, but
For Cocoa Puffs.
but
Look, that's a very
you
good
got to
question.
protect yourself. But
Yeah,
to the
go
point,
ahead.
you have to protect yourself. If I had been in if I had been in the regular habit of recording conversations and video, like cameras and stuff in the house and stuff like that, then it would have been different. All of those scenarios would have been, could have gone differently. So
LAR, and then we'll go clockwise to Dana, and then Mr. Ramil, and back to Dr. Thunder. Let's ask this question, okay? Has MeToo been detrimental to women in the workplace, in the sense that, to the degree to which there are certain cooperative relationships between men and women, MeToo has kind of put some ice on that a little bit? MeToo has put, for example, things like the Mike Pence rule, for example, generally speaking, are not going to help women in the long run, right? If women can't necessarily hang out freely at the bar with you after the silly sales conference that you guys go to, for which for the most part, nothing crazy really happens. So it's like very small percentage of people that are out there, banging all their coworkers. Okay. That's
A
typically
small
how it happens.
percentage. No, it's a large percentage.
Well, if you're talking about, I'm talking about men now, okay?
Yeah.
There's this a small percentage of men banging all of them. Okay? But generally speaking, okay, if women, okay, are not gonna be able to fraternize or whatever that word is in that kind of way, is it affecting? At the end of the day, it's gonna be detrimental to women, right? There's always a backlash. Number one, we always know that the pendulum always swings the other way. But in this particular case, it's actually not very good for cooperative relationships within the workplace, right?
I think the Me Too movement has become the captain of the Titanic. They have hit a serious iceberg that's going to freeze them to death, because now they're taking sexuality out of the equation. So now you actually got to be competent. And this goes from corporate America, and this also goes in academia. You can't flirt with your teacher no more to get a better grade. You can't flirt with your boss no more to get cool enough to possibly get in the room for promotions. As a matter of fact, you might not even be able to do the women empowerment thing by you hire your friend because you're in that position. Now you might have oversight in that just because of, all of these problems that that ladies have created. So in my opinion, what's really about to happen is there are going to be hordes of incompetent women in positions that they shouldn't be in, that they got to get rid of because they can't actually do the job without banking on either sexuality or manipulation.
Well, let me tell you, if I can jump in here real quick. Yeah, if I can jump in real quick. So they've done these studies now where a lot of women are not able to get mentorship from their superiors, which are men, because the men are concerned and afraid that they could be putting themselves in a sort of MeToo kind of situation.
Because they're scared they can't control themselves. Go ahead.
Right. Well, it's totally backfired. So now these are, some of these women are complaining that, that's a real sign of sexism. I mean, all you have to do is just control yourself and there won't be any issue. And it's like, yeah, but you kind of created a scenario where all it takes is for you to make an allegation. I'm not putting myself at risk. So you're going to have to get your mentorship from someone else.
I agree with you, Dr. Thunder, but
go ahead.
It's a spin to that, right? What they're doing now, because they're using that as a basis to promote women in those higher positions, CEO, president, or whatever, to be the mentor to a female woman mentee. So, okay, yes, with the Me Too movement, I don't feel comfortable having a man mentor, blah, 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 or maybe we shouldn't have men mentoring women. So let's push them aside and put a woman in a higher position so that she could be the mentor. You see what I'm saying? Pushing the women in powerful position. Now, there's nothing wrong with that, LAR, because you made it seem like that the women who were having sex to get ahead were incompetent. No, they're very intelligent and smart. Kamala Harris. She just knew to spread her legs to the right person, that she knew her job. But the fact is that I'm in law school, I'm busy, but I still need to make a living. So if I'm sucking and effing him off, I could work 10 hours a week making 75 a year in the 90s. Why not? So I could focus so I could focus on my political career. She's not stupid, even though I don't think she's qualified to be VP for other reasons. However, she's an intelligent person. You see what I'm saying? So no, these women are competent. They just, I want to get laid.
So Superhead should be the president with that logic.
Superhead is not stupid either. She's very smart. And she used her, and first of all, wait. And then first of all, wait. First of all, you think her real name is, what was Corinne Stephens? That's not even her real name, because she knew to throw an alias out there. She know how to get that bag. So you think that this girl is dumb? No, she played her position and she ranked in millions at the end of the day. A lot of women can't do that. A lot of men can't do that.
I'm gonna have to agree with this.
Go ahead,
Let me tell you, because the Me Too movement is based on females who are incompetent. All right, because the competent ones, even if they do use that, they pussy to get to where they at, like Kamala, whatever the case. The ones who are mad are the ones who used their pussy and didn't get to where they want to because they weren't good enough. The one who fucked for the movie role, but they just wasn't a good actress. You know what I'm saying? The one who fucked for this position, they just wasn't good enough. You know what I mean? Like, those are the ones who would meet the people who fucked for the position and maintained it. The quote unquote competent ones, they're not complaining because they know the game. So it's just an excuse that the ones who did use a pussy for
Well, yes and no, Ramil, because a lot of those women that was on that casting couch, which was 99.9%, whether you were talented or not, you had to sit on that casting couch. Even the most talented actress who had to open up her legs on that casting couch, or they're complaining now, oh my God, I was violated. And if they made me feel like I had no choice.
What number one superstar, you know what I'm saying?
Who was it? Who was the famous? Who? Alyssa Milano. She came out. All those female, Jennifer Aniston. All those top actresses. They came out.
They're
against
literally on a
Harvey
decline. They're on a
Weinstein.
decline. They're old as fucking on a decline.
No, they're behind the scenes making more money than in front of the scenes. And then the
I
younger
know, like
actresses.
an NBA player, you don't make no more money in your prime. You can get producer
I'm
roles and
talking
stuff like
about,
that.
we're talking
But you're
about
not gonna
Hollywood, but no, you make more money behind the scenes. But what I'm saying is, even the younger actresses,
not if you're a
that are
superstar
now,
actress. If you're a Jennifer Aniston, you're not going to make more money being a producer now than when you were in your prime
yes,
getting
you
paid.
yes, because you have your own production company, and producers make more money, especially if you have big budgets. But anyway,
Yeah, like Harvey
If
Weinstein.
Will
that's
Smith gets
everyone
paid
was
$20
$20
saying.
million, $20 million a film. There's no producer role.
Somebody's paying him.
Yeah, but he used to make $20 million in his prime as an A-list actor. Where's he gonna go behind?
because he executive produced, he'll be.
He gonna get $20 million in the film.
Direct.
In his prime, he was getting $20 million.
He'll get more than that because you're also getting a percentage of the distribution as well. So my point is this: the older actresses, seasoned superstar actresses, and the younger ones, yes, they came out and said, "Yes, I was violated too."
The ones who are on the
younger
decline, on the way out, who can't get those hot roles no more. Yeah, they came out. Yeah.
No, but they came out to support the ones that's on the upcline.
Let me put this on the table, okay? I heard what you guys have said. Okay, the women came out, and Ramil is saying, "Hey, it's most of them don't mind." Okay, there's a third group here whom, okay, they don't mind. They're in Ramil's camp. They're like, "Hey, we know the game. Actually, like
they create the game. They
just like, because as you always say, Ramil, right? Women love D. It's not like some kind of strange, like, oh, it was such a sacrifice.
Oh my God, I had to fuck for that. I had to take some dick for this role. Oh my God, this is a bad thing.
They didn't create that game. They didn't create the casting couch.
Yes,
that was
they
men.
did.
The
females throw that. Yes, they threw that ass first.
This is back from the 20th century, the early 1900s. Yes, it was the men that created that casting couch because women didn't have power. They didn't.
How long have women been? They did an experiment with animals, with monkeys, right? And when they introduced money, the first thing the female monkeys did was start selling pussy.
No,
all right? The female that's a science experiment on this.
The oldest profession, apparently.
Where you going, Ramil? Where you going?
I'm saying females always use what they have to get what they want since the beginning of time. You act like, oh, it's created in the casting couch 20s. No, this is
men
literally humanity.
That atmosphere. Listen, if you want this role, give me some head, or I gotta have sex.
No, she said, "What do I gotta do?"
No,
hey, Mr. Johnson, I'm here to audition.
And you guys are always acting like there's no two sides to a coin. Of course, it takes the man and the woman to get this deal going.
But the man said, "I'll give you this role if you sleep with me," and she wants that role because, all right, I'll do it. And then he'll also say, "If you don't sleep with me, I'm going to blackball you and you won't work again."
Yeah, but like
I said, they did an experiment with the animals. They did an experiment. My bad. Go. My bad. Go. I'm sorry.
So let me restate the points on the table. Okay, Ramil, you're coming from the point of view that, look, women are gonna sell it. They're gonna start this stuff. The opposite side of the coin is, well, they're selling it to somebody, so there's got to be a market there. So it's like, okay, cool. The market is there, and a lot of women have no problem with it, especially if they're talented. And in this particular point, they have to use this thing, it's like they have to use this special boost button, okay, to get through. Great. And then there's perhaps a cohort of women who they actually enjoyed it. Like, hey, I enjoyed screwing my way to the top. Plus, I'm intelligent and pretty brilliant. It was fun all the way, and I'm on top and I'm able to handle it.
Women said that.
Well, look, I'm saying, I'm not saying I know somebody that said that. What I'm saying is I said it. As a man, I can say, what's wrong with a woman saying it?
But women,
can a man not be like, hey, I screwed my way to the top?
No, but the women would not. Thank you.
They would not admit to it.
No, but in their head was, women, did they prefer to do that? No, they prefer to actually let me apply and see if I get it But what women do, if they got to do that and go so low like that, they'll do it.
That's not going low. Getting dick is not a punishment for them. Why you making it seem like?
We're talking about the casting couch here. I'm talking
Even
about,
then, y'all act like
want this role, you have to do this. So the fact is that to be subjectified, and if you allow yourself to do that, you do it, you get the role, and you become famous. You push that in the back of your head, because if you actually carry that with you, you'll be messed up.
Why
Okay.
is Vanessa Williams the most well-known Miss America?
Because it's some man that want to sit up here and blackmail her with some topless photos, and then, oh my God, all of America, oh my God, we cannot have this. Then she was blackballed. Then she was labeled as a whore.
Didn't she do? No, but
okay,
then
let me ask you this question real quick. Okay, so right now we live in an age of free will. Everybody can do what they want to do. Right now, selling ass is the prime thing, right? We see it on social media, whatever the case. What man is forcing that to be the culture right now? I'm telling you, because what I'm saying is that women are going to do it regardless. They don't need a man to force them or to tell them, hey, your pussy can get you this. They automatically know, and they're going to use it to their advantage. Why would they not? They're human. So for you to say it takes a man to bring that out of them, like they don't like.
No, I'm saying y'all created that atmosphere. Men created the atmosphere.
No, what do you mean? No, we talking about nature.
Nature? We talk about casting couch is not natural.
I'm talking about women using.
She's talking about the casting couch, and you're not going to win that point. She's just going to she's making a technical point here. She says we created the casting couch situation. They have the power there, and she's correct. Okay, you're talking about something more general about nature and casting couch.
Hey, we want to talk about who created. Even that's an argument right then and there. Well, come on.
Oh yeah, you got to go find your historian. You go pay your historian.
To say men create
like you have a court case about it. You trying to say men could never be sexist? Then
no. I'm not saying. I'm saying you're being sexist by saying like that women are not going to do this regardless. Like they need help.
Can men be sexist?
Anybody can be sexist.
I'm asking,
just like anybody.
Like, yes or no? Yes or no?
Here's a question.
Wait,
they say the oldest.
Oh. I'm trying to understand you before you take me down this.
It's not a rabbit hole. Not a rabbit hole, because you're going to say yes, men could be sexist, and I'm gonna ask you: have men ever been sexist? Yes, men have been sexist. Was it a time in the 50s and the 40s, even in the 60s, women being chased around the desk in the office because she was Miss Secretary? Yes.
It happened last week.
Like I said, man, look, man. In that time, why didn't she quit? Exactly. Why didn't she quit? Come on, man. Why didn't she quit? Why didn't she quit? She loved when Mr. Johnson said, "Get over here and suck this dick. Let's go." She was like, okay. She ain't had no problem with it. You stop acting like they the victim. She could have quit the job, looked at the classified, and got another job.
Yes, and some of those women did quit because they had husbands to take care of them. But the ones who did not have husbands, they couldn't quit because they needed to take care of their family. They could get another job, or they get a husband. They didn't have a husband because they didn't want a husband. Take some accountability, Ramil.
I'm taking accountability. The men, the society makes men take accountability.
Okay, let's let LAR chime in. Okay, what you got to say,
I'm
LAR?
just saying.
You want to stop calling me Miss Cleo too?
They say prostitution is the oldest profession in mankind. That means pimping ain't. So you made these choices first. What came first, the prostitute or the pimp? Sounds like the prostitute. I'm just saying.
You was a whole lie.
The couch, the carpenter was there first, so the couch was there first. But I'm just saying, y'all was selling it first.
Told you that.
Once again, they literally did a science experiment on this. They left the monkey, introduced money to animals. When they introduced money to animals, the first thing the female monkey did was start selling that ass for food. This is literally science experiment.
What do a monkey know about money, Ramel? Are you
they can use,
or figuratively?
You can use things for primates have certain
they can talk. They can do sign language. Come on.
Yeah, but it could have been a banana and they probably would have had sex. You talking about something?
Yeah. That's just saying. Yeah.
We're just talking about. Yeah, the experiment just basically it introduced trading items.
Yeah, it could be food.
That's basically what it was. A rudimentary form of
who was? Wait, back up. Who was the
she
first
did
hoe?
something strange
Who
for
was
that Chiquita.
Eve. Who was the first hoe?
Who was the first hoe? Who was the man in the Bible that had all those wives? He had more. Moses, who had more than one wife? The first
talking
Abraham.
about Solomon?
Abraham had 100 wives.
He's out there
Solomon
helping
had
the women
about
of the
800
pasture.
wives.
Okay,
So,
he's helping them
whatever,
have a good home.
Men, y'all were the first hoes. You
No,
talking about Roman? Wait, back up,
we
back
were the
up,
first
honey.
multiple
Back
tricks
up,
because
back
they
up,
had to
back
have all their wives with money. Them women wanted to be wives for comfort.
First of all, wait a minute. Y'all was the
Concubines.
Today's
first
show
hoes
should have been
going
who was
back-
first, pimps or
Who's
hoes?
first? Who likes sex more? Who
Going
would
back
do-
to the Roman times,
who wanted it
Julius
first?
Caesar. They said hide your wives and also the husbands, because he was sleeping with the wives and the men, honey. Men, y'all were the first hoes because y'all was sleeping with men.
That's
and
not even
women.
the argument. The
no,
argument
no,
is
no, no, no,
women
no.
literally.
Yes, it is.
All right.
Ramil, you put that argument in. You talking about something we the first prostitute?
No. Men sleep with people with women for free. Y'all sleep with men for stuff. So don't you play this game. We would have gave you this meat for nothing. Y'all over there trading
You made a
everything for something.
technical foul there, Dana. You know, you can't be switching terms like that. But anyways, let's try to come back on track here a little bit, okay, ladies and gentlemen. And by the way,
D-Rock,
we're gonna
I'm not
start
no
by-
broad, honey. Don't play with me. We having a lovely panel. Don't play with me. I will hop in that damn chat.
Oh, okay. Well, yeah. Take care of him. Snipe him down over there. All right. But shout out to the super chat, Dr. Thunder, if you don't mind reading the super chat and the person who sent it.
Absolutely. Don McKee 90, $2 super chat. Thank you very much. Dana, the secret is out. Women enjoy it too.
Oh, yes, they do. But anyways, let's continue here with this whole thing about Me Too and then the relationships with men and women. Now, let me ask you this, Dana, as the woman on the panel here. Okay, there's a particular dynamic that goes on. Okay, which is this: groups of competent people like to hang out together at work, right? You've worked in different jobs where everyone's a dumbass, but you know, Sarah or David or whomever, that's the person. They know their stuff, right? And if you're gonna hang out with anybody or after work party, whatever, that's the person, okay? And you guys are gonna go places because you guys are the competent group, okay? Now, in order for women to kind of advance, okay? It's something that you talked about earlier on, Dana, with your pushing women up to mentor other women. But in order for women to advance, they have to get in these kind of social cliques. But guess what? You know, it's fine, okay, if Dr. Thunder is getting text messages in a text group at all hours of the day and night from his work group of Dave and Ben. But when it's Dave, Ben, and Mary, right, in that chat group, you know, sending memes back and forth, or, oh, I'm going to hang out with Dave, Ben, and Mary, it becomes a problem such that you could be, let's say you, Dana, are trying to advance in your job, but you're blocking a woman in your husband's job, okay? And there's another woman, okay, that's part of, you know, the family of the men you're working with that's blocking you. If you get the picture that I'm setting up here, women kind of blocking each other, not wanting other women to come into. Hey, you can't be part of my husband's, you know, work group. Who is this woman? How does that play out? Have you ever experienced this, or you ever thought about this?
No, I never experienced that. But I mean, if you are married, you know, and your husband has a business, why is your husband allowing you to make decisions on who he hire or not? That's his business. You know, he has HR. That's why you have HR for that. You know, HR is to protect your company, not the wife to protect it. The wife is in HR. So, you know, and I wouldn't want to work in that type of environment anyway, if it's set up like that, because that's unprofessional.
Okay, so now we're gonna go around the panel with that same situation. Has anyone ever experienced it? Because I've experienced it in the sense that now I'm in a field where there are not a lot of women. Okay, that's number one. Okay, and since I'm there, let me just mention a couple of things. When it comes to competence, for example, I often say that, look, like I don't have a lot of employees, but over 40% of my employees are women, right? In a field where there are not a lot of women. Why am I saying that? I'm saying that because competence still wins every time. I got those women because they get the job done. I don't care, I don't care if you're a Martian, okay? And no real business person cares. Dana, you're an entrepreneur, right? Do you care who does good service or not? You give me that good service, or you're a good vendor or whatever it may be? I don't care, right? So that's point number one. And then point number two, being in that realm where there are few women, okay, and also I was dating an engineer, right? Dated engineers, you'll find that there's a lot of, hey, you can't be hanging out with the female engineer from work, right? It's not kind of cool. So it ends up kind of perpetuating the good old boys club, because no girls are allowed into the good old boys club, because girls are girls and boys are boys, and it's nobody's fault. It's not the wife's fault for cock blocking. It's not anybody's fault. It's an actually dangerous situation. I'm willing to say openly, and then let me get your response from the guys here, Dr. Thunder, LAR, and Ramil. This is nobody's fault, right? The wife is not crazy for being paranoid that, hey, you know what? Who was Angela as part of, like you're going out with the boys, but Angela was at the bar. Who's Angela, right? The wife's not crazy. And it's not Angela's fault if she just wants to hang out, because this is the group of guys that actually, they're friends, they're the competent people.
Okay,
what do you guys have to say about this?
I don't know if you was asking me.
Okay, no,
first,
go ahead. Go start,
yeah.
Dana.
Let me just say this though, because again, whoever wife that is, you need to tell her to sit her ass down somewhere, because you're gonna cost your husband a serious lawsuit. Because you said something, the boys club, right? The boy, that's equivalent to the all white member club when blacks were not invited. So when you say the boys club, no women are invited, you're setting yourself up for a lawsuit. That is discrimination, because that's on the same premise when blacks were not allowed in the country club, and especially when it was a company outing. So
100%.
Now hold up.
So
go ahead. I'm sorry.
No, I'm saying so if it's a business outing, and when you say it was just the men colleagues, first of all, you are practicing discrimination in your workplace, and you could be liable to be sued. Second of all, you should not be saying that. So if a woman does come along, because it's a company outing and women work in a company, so whoever wife that is, she needs to go sit her ass down somewhere.
Okay, so on both levels there, and Dr. Thunder, you were talking about this earlier in the sense that with regard to the Mike Pence rule, and then people push back saying, "Hey, why can't you can't say that you have this rule where you don't have meetings with women alone, right? How can women get in on the deal if you're not having this one-on-one meetings?" That gives, in other words, it gives men a privilege. That means you can have one-on-one meetings with men, but you can't have one-on-one meetings with men. But anyways, Dr. Thunder, and then Eliar, and then Ramil, the stuff that's on the table right now with regards to this kind of, is it a work function, or is it just the boys hanging out together? The woman is trying to hang out. Is your wife cool with you hanging out with the girls, co-workers, and sending texts back and forth in your text group all night?
Yeah, I mean, I am.
We know you don't hang out with anybody, Dr. Thunder, by the way. So let's kind of put that on down.
Right.
That caveat, by the way, we know you're not hanging out with nobody regardless. But given that, answer the question.
I mean, I think my wife's watching the show, so careful with that. No, but it's like it's just the whole situation is kind of funky, because it is a natural thing for men to congregate, as it is a natural thing for women to congregate. And when you start talking about certain kinds of jobs, it would be a natural thing for certain kinds of jobs to be all men, as it would be natural for certain kinds of jobs to be all women. And maybe you have an outlier that's stuck in there. But hopefully those outliers are in there because they deserve to be in there, not because the company feels pressure to quote unquote diversify the group, and then also not because the one outlier found some casting couch related methods to get into the group and then to be promoted within that group. And then of course it's a problem with having things set up in the way that they are, with the whole MeToo thing and everything, is you really shouldn't say anything or have anything to say when someone like Mike Pence says, look, I'm just trying to protect myself. You know, you see what's going on. Everyone sees what's going on. Actually, this is just being responsible. And actually, what I'm most responsible for is not public perception. It's not, you know, other people, if they think I'm on the up and up. It's actually my marriage. So if I'm doing things, because he's a religious guy, if I'm doing things because I want to make sure that things stay above reproach and that, you know, nothing goes down. Maybe something happened early on in his marriage and he wants to make sure, maybe he promised his wife that, look, I'm not going to put myself in that kind of scenario again. And so this is the way for him to hedge against that. To then call foul because he's doing that to protect himself, to protect his family, to, you know, that stuff is just, you know, it's like you crack the code, you figure out how to operate within a bogus system, and then they keep changing the rules so that even though you shouldn't have to be doing all of this weird stuff to try to navigate, you figure out how to do it, and they just keep changing and moving things around. And it's like, come on.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, the fluid nature of this is definitely a novel thing. So LAR, you're next here on the table with regards to, you know, Betty and Susie and Laura out there. They're trying to climb the ladder, okay? But they're trying to block each other because they're all married to somebody, and they're trying to block the woman in their husband's job. So it's like the women are cock blocking other women without even ever meeting each other would go with this kind of story, right? What are your thoughts about that?
I think all of the hypocrisy of this is going to create a good old boys club again for multiple reasons, because
you got to protect yourself.
Right, because of protecting yourself, but also because women don't have it's not discriminatory when women have a good old girls club. Men are excluded from women's things all the time. So it's going to just be like, well, hey, I mean, we're not welcome. We're not allowed. Y'all have and we can't toss in the rainbow coalition like, well, I got a friend. No. We're talking about all heterosexual people. You're not going to slide in one of the others as an affirmative action man in the situation. So because of things like this, guys have to protect themselves because, like Doctor was saying, the hypocrisy is over 9,000. That's a Dragon Ball Z reference, people. Mm-hmm. To the point where the same reasoning why you should be allowed is the same reasoning that you use to screw a person over to get in a particular spot. And women are just trying to protect their home from other women that will use that as a way in the door and a way to get paid out. So the number, we all say self-preservation is the law of the land. So you really can't get upset at a person for preserving themselves when it has publicly been shown that people will do these type of things. And this has become a norm. So, I mean, ladies are stuck now.
Yeah, ladies are stuck.
Ike, you gotta acknowledge the super chats.
Yeah, I got a couple super chats. Let's go ahead. That round of applause. You go ahead and read it, Dr. Thunder. Here we go.
Well, it's a super sticker. It's like I think it's like the hippo. Keep it going or something.
Who's it by? Who's it from?
D Rock Den 9.99. Thank you very much.
Then we have this other one. Thank you very much.
Yes, and this is a Fitz Bump super sticker from Letitia Smith, and that's $2.99.
Thank you very much for the support. $2.99. That's a iPhone user. I think the previous one was an iPhone user as well. Ladies and gentlemen, that like button, that subscribe button, if you're not subscribed to the show, if you like this kind of content, please go ahead and click that subscribe button. Oh, now a lot has been laid on the table. Okay. Now Ramil's going to respond next with regards to this workplace dynamic and how it may be end up screwing women. Now, what LAR said last dovetails with something that Ms. Dana said earlier, which is, hey, men have this weakness, okay? And women, these wives know their men have this weakness, and they're like, who's this other woman in the in the vicinity, anywhere near the map, right? No other woman should be around here because I don't need anybody sapping any kind of attention. Because I think that this is important to women. I may be wrong, but I think that the attention part is important to women. I think that they don't really like, and it is fair because we understand that the exchange between men and women is different, right? Men actually, or women actually value a woman's or a man, that's the man that they want, right? A man that they want non-sexual attention, right? And having another woman getting attention from your man is not nice. But anyways, you know what's on the table, Ramil, okay? Is the Me Too movement hurting women, in a kind of a backdoor way at the workplace, because now they can't get these mentorships, or you have people like my pen saying, I'm not going to have meetings with them, and then these wives complain about each other. What are your thoughts on this?
Yes, it's going to hurt the incompetent ones even further, who can't use their pussy to get to where they need to get. The stuff's still going on. Females still going to use what they got to get to where they want to get in life. But I think LAR is right. It is going to create another boys club, and there's nothing wrong with that. And I think straight heterosexual men in the corporate workplace should be more adamant about that. You can have an only boys meeting. You can do all that stuff. There's nothing wrong with that. You won't get sued. You can have an all-male board. They just shot down the case in California. They tried to pass a law saying that you got to have at least one woman on the board or some bullshit. Supreme Court shot that shit down because that's giving special treatment, right? And this is what straight heterosexual men got to understand. Just like these other people do, the Rainbow Coalition, women, you can do the same thing. It's just niggas are scared to do it. I don't know why. You don't want to group up. But then they want to complain when you get Me Too out this world. But you don't got the power base to fight for yourself that you're supposed to create for your own. Yes, you can. It should be a good old boys club. It's better that way. Women do not know how to run shit. That's just is what it is. That's why most Fortune 500 companies are not ran by them, because it is what it is. So I mean, we trying to go against nature and put them in these powerful positions. Nah, just bring back the good old boys club, man.
Bring back the good old boys club. Yes, I see. In the back of your truck, that's the sticker right there, next to the joint, the sticker of the joint. Anyways, we're at about an hour and 18 minutes into this. Okay. Now, we've put a lot on the table here, but we're going to circle back to where we started with regards to how did men get themselves in this situation. Remember, the title says that Johnny Depp proves that men are to blame, okay? And you can always say this is always true. Men have to take responsibility by definition because no one's going to come save them. So even if it's not your fault, it is your responsibility. At the end of the day, you got to do something about it. So I'm going to start with Dr. Thunder, and then we're going to go around again in that typical clockwise fashion about, look, men have always been taught to sacrifice, okay? I'm laying something out on the table. I want to see what your thoughts are about it. Basically saying, look, men effed up a basic social contract. There's a basic social contract about you sacrifice, and then I give you respect, leadership, and honor, okay? It reflects itself in many different ways. Let's say the family, the parents, okay, have to sacrifice for the kid, okay? Hence, since they have this responsibility, they have the power. Okay, since they have this responsibility and they have to sacrifice, they get the rules, they get to make the rules, they get to run the show, right? They're the leaders. Same thing with, the lords and the barons, whom have to organize armies and then protect the serfs. That's how it works. Or if you're like a Caesar or whatever, or even with, nobility, they're expected to join the military. Or you can look at John McCain. He rode the whole, I've sacrificed, therefore I deserve a place in leadership. Right, we get it. Okay, it's a typical type of thing. So men have always been taught to sacrifice for women and children, but at some point they forgot to collect. Okay, they forgot that, this social sacrifice thing here, you have to actually collect on what is due to you for sacrificing. So men keep on sacrificing. So women and children first, right? Or believe all women tends to have the same kind of sting or kind of a smell to it, right? That the way men got themselves in this situation is, it's like the children all of a sudden getting all the power, okay, in the home, and expecting the parents to still sacrifice. right, for them. How does that? Is this crazy? Obviously, it's a cartoon, right? It's a caricature. It's just a sketch. But how does it strike you? First of all, Dr. Thunder, LAR, and then Dana.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, it's a tough scenario we find ourselves in, because on the one hand, you want to try to make certain kinds of opportunities accessible by anyone that is capable. So in other words, you want people to have equal access. But when the numbers don't change, though there is equal access, then they decided that they needed something stronger. So they said, okay, we're going to make equal outcomes then. And then when you make equal outcomes, by definition, it means that you are you're normalizing, or you're creating some sort of curve that allows anyone, no matter where they are, to get in.
Those are very nice euphemisms for oppression and suppression. You're normalizing and you're creating a curve. Anyways, go ahead.
Right. And
you mean you're oppressing people in order to make people equal?
That's right. That's right. You're doing this, right? And then you create this sort of strange work environments with all this stuff. I mean, I'll tell you this, and this is even prior to any of the sort of latest iterations of the MeToo stuff and everything. In large part, for the most part, I'm and don't take this the wrong way, but I'm scared of women.
Well, you're the problem, okay. Dr. Dunder, if you're scared of women. That means something is wrong with you.
Well, understand
it's not
what I'm saying.
Something wrong with us. It's something wrong with you.
Maybe it's a good fear. That's why he's protecting himself.
I'm saying I have a fear, a healthy fear, I think, of scenarios if women are in those scenarios versus if guys are in those scenarios. And I think that's smart. I think it's smart.
No, you don't be cautious, man. Just be careless and just shake everybody's hand and hug everybody. No, you shouldn't be. Real Dana's right. You should.
Don't be scared of women. Yeah, you should just go ahead and do whatever.
Yeah, don't be scared. Don't be cautious. Just be carefree. Just be carefree and just don't worry about anything. You ain't got nothing to worry about, Dr. Dunder.
Well, something you said, Dr. Dunder, which I totally disagree, and it was what you basically advocated for is racism when you said that equal opportunity actually suppresses people. And it's the other way around.
Not equal opportunity. No, not equal opportunity.
Equal outcome, right?
Outcome. Yeah, equal outcome. There's no such thing as equal outcome if you give everyone the same opportunities.
That's not true. Because the purpose of equal opportunity, right? When we're talking about in the workforce here, that is so whether I'm a man or a woman, and particularly black or white, right? Because that came out of the Civil Rights Act.
Right.
You cannot, people were discriminated against because of the color of their skin. Okay. So by not discriminating against someone by the color of their skin, how did giving equal opportunity become, how did you call it? Equal what? Suppressing.
Equal outcomes.
Yeah, okay. How it's suppressing an equal outcome.
Listen, it's equality of opportunity versus what's called equity. Equity means that you have the same outcome, but it doesn't matter what you have to choose from. You just have to put the same number of people. It's
May I interject here?
But again,
everybody don't have the same ability. Everybody doesn't have the same ability.
But there was a time when white people felt as though black people were not competent enough to have the equitable outcome, that they wasn't competent, which is why we don't want to hire them. And that's not true, because you are discriminating against somebody on the color of their skin. No.
You're-
I'm
you're
using the
conflating.
same analogy, but I'm instead of
No,
me
you're
using
conflating
women
issues.
and men, I'm using
Yeah,
color
yeah.
because it's the same thing.
Yeah. I think the reason why we're sort of talking past each other is it seems to me that you're conflating
Give me an example of what
equality.
you're saying.
You're conflating equality of outcome with access, equality of access.
Let me give an example. And Dr. Thunder, you can say if it's fine, and Dana, you can say if it clarifies things. Okay.
Sure.
So equality of opportunity, okay, or access, right, which means the door is open to everybody, versus equality of outcome means everybody comes out having competed in this game with the equal amount of money, which basically means it doesn't happen that way. If I open the door to everybody, some people are still going to come out with more because of unequal distributions of talent and background and everything.
Right.
Take, for example, if you take Kenyans versus this is my favorite example, right? Kenyans versus Filipinos, okay? If we say equality of opportunity, everybody is free to run the marathon. Guess what? The Kenyans are still going to be winning it all the time because equality of outcomes never happens in nature. No matter what when you allow things to happen because of the inequality of distributions in the beginning will be reflected in the inequality of distributions. I totally
get what you're
outside.
saying, but this is what I'm saying. Equal opportunity. So you allow people from all backgrounds, color, gender, nationalities to apply. It's up to 100%. Me. It's up to me, as the employer to say, okay, this person has the qualifications I'm looking for. This person has the qualifications / experience that I'm looking for. So even though I have a array of diversity of applications, I'm going to select somebody on the basis of their on the basis of their qualifications as opposed to their race or their gender. So being qualified doesn't have nothing to do with being a woman or man, black, white.
Yeah, that's what we're saying. Yeah.
No, that's not what you said. You said equal opportunity doesn't necessarily mean that equal opportunity sometimes mean, would you say, suppressing equality or the outcome?
So what happens is if you're trying to, so what I said was, if since equal access was not enough because it did not produce the quote unquote the diverse look that they wanted, they said, okay, well, it doesn't look like this is working. We need something stronger. So they said, okay, we're going to create equal outcomes. And the problem with equal outcomes
has to do with this conversation today when it comes to gender, because we're talking about man and woman, right?
I mean, it could be men or women. It could be.
Give me an example.
Race.
Give me an example.
Yeah, I mean, you could say for instance,
the fact that men and women both have access to STEM, and women only make up a small percentage of STEM because the free choice they have to not do it. That's equality of opportunities, but not equal outcome.
Now, is that the only reason why?
Yes, they have the freedom to go to school. They can sign up. There's nothing stopping females from getting into STEM.
Men don't want to be nurses, for example.
Okay, so that's what he's saying. That's what he means. It's equal outcome.
So how do you wait a minute? So if we actually did some research, we would definitely find that there were probably some women who did apply for some STEM programs and was turned down.
Y'all always want to be victims. No, they don't want to do it.
Let me finish my statement because I wasn't finished. Because I'm bringing what I just said into it. If we do some research, you will find that some women were stepped over when we talk about STEM, right? Now, if we do some research, you will find that some men will probably step over when it comes to being a nurse. It does happen on both sides of the aisle. If you do the research.
Is that the primary reason for the difference in outcome?
I think it's one of the reasons.
No, is it the primary reason? I'll tell you the primary reason is because women don't want to do math. That's what it is.
Wait, it is true. Men gravitate more towards math and the engineering, the technology stuff.
Thank you.
However, you cannot say that's the only reason why it's
that's
a
the
big
primary
number.
reason. That's the primary reason.
Don't even use primary because what's after primary? Secondary? Like
yes.
But that means
There's an order of operation.
Hold on. Okay, since you guys are getting quantitative, and since I'm the moderator, okay, it's like this. Basically, if there's a 50% difference between two numbers, right, and something such as discrimination accounts for 5% of that 50% difference, right? we understand that it's there, but typically we don't list all the factors, include all the ones that cause 1% difference, 2% difference. We say, okay, there's this big one that's causing
primary.
for like 30%,
Yes.
and we'll call that
The
the
reason
primary
for
type
primary
thing.
is making a decision. However, at the same time, when we talk about how society, women, and let's go back before y'all call the modern day women, let's go some decades back. Women were taught to operate a certain way. You go to college to find a husband. You don't go to college to want to be an engineer. You see what I'm saying? So even though that kind of faded throughout the decades,
when did that stop?
Still, wait, let me finish because I'm making my point. I'm about to answer your question.
All right.
Even though that faded out, but men, you are already a step ahead in those fields. So now that women are like, well, I'm the modern women and I want to be in those fields too. Yes, that is the percentage of why we're far behind, because society has directed women in a certain way, and they just started curving to say, "I want."
No, wait, hold on. Let me again take my host privileges and just kind of lay down some more facts, because what you said, Dana, is 100% true. Okay, there is a history of what people are taught to do.
Women weren't allowed to go to law school. It was probably
What year was this? What year was it? 1920?
No, my point is, how many men were already in law school, right?
100 years ago.
When the wall started breaking down, you already had a jump start.
This is 100 years
ago. So hold on a second. So women start going into law school, for example, but you'll find out that there are places where women are not gonna want to go into. Then you take
an
example of
female doctors, by the way, though.
Yeah, let's just take, for example, medical doctors. They went in there. It's like, but STEM and coding, they're not rushing in there. And we don't need to be, let's just go back to common sense land, right? We don't need to be scientists, to kind of be, we're not surprised, right? That women were not rushing to go code and eat Cheetos.
Somebody's surprised.
They were rushing towards being a doctor and these other kinds of things, right? So, and in Scandinavian countries, which is, here's the data that's shocking, is the sense that the gap between men and women actually started increasing. Okay, in other words, more men started choosing men's stuff and women started choosing more women's stuff in Scandinavian countries, the more the egalitarianism was in, Sweden and Denmark, right? Those places where people use as egalitarian kind of examples. Well, as things get more egalitarian, actually the diversion actually increased in terms of men and women interest. More women, when they're free, actually want to do things that are different from what men want to do, is basically what that study would suggest. And again, it's not surprising. We already
don't say. You don't say. You don't say.
Is this Scandinavia that we're living in? No, this is America. So
we're talking about men and women. I mentioned
talking about a whole nother country with a whole
nother sense. And then I mentioned
that's not how research works.
And then I get empiricism, and all three still
we're talking about America
but I get
and American women.
But that's not how. Dana, that's not how research works. The thing is you're never going to find a study that perfectly works with each argument. What you have to do is you have to look at studies that have enough in common with what it is that you're discussing, and then you can
social science, statistical science.
No.
Well, it's different types of research, and what I'm saying is more than one reason. You just can't say it's one reason. For you to sit up and say,
nobody said that.
That says the primary. Says the primary reason.
The primary reason is probably 40% of the reason why.
Even it don't matter. The primary means it's the largest reason why it's happening. Nobody is oppressing. Nobody's oppressing you guys from going into STEM.
You're saying that it's primary, and you don't even know that for sure.
Yes, I do. I do know. Yes, because nobody is oppressing the females. Nobody's oppressing you guys to say you have to do this in this day and age. It ain't been like that for 100-some years. You guys don't make the conscious decision to go into these fields, and there's nothing wrong with that. I'm just saying, why are you trying to be the victim? Why are you trying to be a victim? Like, women don't want to do that shit, and there's nothing wrong with that.
Here's the thing. Since we are in America, and part of the thing is, does Johnny Depp prove that men are to blame? We are in a country that was founded primarily by incompetent people who finagled their way into doing things. So that cultivated a society where you can also become be incompetent and finagle your way into doing things. So what we wind up doing is we're putting a idealistic view on an unethical situation. So just because people, you like what I brought up earlier about sacrifice, and everybody doesn't want to sacrifice because we're in a place where, guess what? I don't have to sacrifice to get ahead if I learn how to finagle well. The same thing as far as the outcomes in the equal opportunity. Guess what? Maybe I don't have to be egalitarian. Maybe I don't need an equal opportunity if I learn how to finagle my way into an outcome that's better than yours. So at the end of the day, the American hustle mentality is at the base of all of this. So there is the ideals, the Christianity, the right and wrong, we're not in the space for that, because we're hundreds of years deep into always being able to, can I lie to you to get ahead? Yes. Can I cheat to get ahead? Yes. Can I use force to get ahead? Yes. Can I use sex to get ahead? Yes.
Right.
All of these are on the table.
Well, why do you say they were incompetent? The people that came here on this land centuries ago, they weren't incompetent.
Because
they were smart.
yes, they were incompetent because they couldn't build anything on their own.
They used other people for that, and they created a business
because they tried to get wealthy do it on their own and they kept failing.
No,
they were incompetent at making stuff.
Yeah, no, and I understand what you're saying, but the premise is you're talking about capitalism. I'm not going to build. I'm going to bring in some slaves to do it for free to build my wealth and power.
So wait, no. I'm talking about capitalism came after the incompetence. They first got here and they were like, I'm gonna build a farm, failed. I'm gonna build a colony, failed. I'm gonna set a city,
did they fail?
Because they weren't from here. They didn't know how the land worked. They didn't know how to cultivate. So
what did they do?
Because they weren't from. They befriended the natives. Then they taught them how to do things, and
do we need a history lesson?
Gave them smallpox.
Yeah, do we need? No, they didn't befriend, and they killed them. They slaughtered them. They gave them diseases.
No, they did not. That wasn't initial. The initial thing was, let me be cool with you because I'm over here messing up stuff.
That's part of me about to kill and slaughter you.
Eliar, is that are you incompetent if you outsmart a group of people and take over their whole shit? Well, don't say that. I'm just.
No, but that's what they outsmart.
I'm just saying. But are you incompetent if you outsmart a group of people and conquer them?
Wait a minute, Ramil and Dana are teaming up.
No, I'm not. That's what I said.
Ramil, listen, Rob. Yes, me and my real teaming up, Ramil. You ain't gonna pass out and die if you agree with a woman. Like, yes,
my man said, Eliar, are they incompetent if they outsmarted a group?
No problem. They're incompetent because it's not outsmarting somebody to befriend them because you can't do something for yourself. Really? That's not being smart. That's being a jackass.
Can I be the topic for next week?
A jackass for under who? But isn't that a morality thing versus it's a line of jackass?
Yeah, we can bring it. We can talk about it.
Dana always coming up with the topic for the next show.
The reason why I say what I'm saying the way I'm saying is I could befriend you and rob you, and you'll say and I can tell you I'm being smart, and you won't say that.
Well, there's a legal system. Like back then, when
that's the same thing.
They came over here and put their Mac down. Not just the British, the French, Spain. They say whoever's here, we want this, and then we're going to battle.
Not what they. Yes, we're not going to make
they did. Well, first of all, they went to the Caribbean. First of all, honey, they went over on Brazil, the Portuguese, wrecked havoc over there, laid down not just the religion, but killed them off, enslaved people, bought in slaves. Yes, to where that whole government is under that rule to this day. And then you're talking about, okay, when there was the British that came over here. And then it's like, okay, the regular European Protestants was like, you know what? We don't want to be on British rule no more. So we want to make this our own country. So they was fighting each other because they already killed off the natives. We already had the slaves here. This country was wealthy already. Now we want to rule and create our own country. And that's what they did. That's not incompetence.
That was decades after they were incompetent.
What?
Okay, so did they become competent
I
after
understand.
that then, bro? You trying to say
Y'all
like,
are-
at first
Yeah,
at first they weren't incompetent. Okay,
Yeah.
so when they got here, you saying we got
No,
here.
no, no.
First they were confident, then they were not
Hold-
confident.
let
Then you
me-
guys are gonna die on that
that's exactly
hill.
what-
Really?
that's
you guys
exactly
have
what I'm
strange
saying.
hills. You want to
Okay.
die on.
if you the foundation was incompetence. I'm not saying they got smart. I'm saying the foundation started with incompetence. Thus, where we're at now in our society, you too, part of the American dream is you too can be incompetent and get ahead. That's part of what I was talking about with the MeToo women. You too can bust it wide open on a couch and try to get ahead.
I think I know what you're saying, that you don't have to have a PhD to get ahead. That's capital. That's capitalism. You don't have to have a degree.
ethics.
That is capitalism.
And you don't have to have a work ethic.
But listen.
And you don't have to have
There
skills.
are people. Wait, but that's
So-
not incompetence, because people who don't have PhDs, they understand capitalism, as opposed to someone with a PhD do not understand capitalism, which means they're only going to make but a certain amount of income and have no power or wealth. I have no degrees, but I know and I understand and I finesse capitalism. So I'm
So
Eliar,
Eliar, if a female OnlyFans, she's shaking ass and she make $150,000 a year and she just shake her ass for an hour a day on 5 days a week, is that incompetence?
or is that capitalism?
If she's making
That's
if an OnlyFans,
capitalism. That's not competence.
no, say no. So she's incompetent if she makes $150,000 a year on OnlyFans.
Yeah.
Okay, I was just trying to get
Oh,
you.
you're saying capitalism is incompetence?
Hold on. Last time I checked, we didn't look at strippers as competent individuals.
Yeah, but I think in
I
today's
just
world,
finessed you out of a G. Oh, I'm competent. nigga.
I think in
Not you,
today's
nigga.
world,
And
I
you
think
back in the club
Yeah,
tomorrow
that-
because
hold
you're
on,
addicted because you're
Eliar.
not competent.
That's a slippery
let
slope.
me ask Eliar, are you saying
What?
that? Hold on, Eliar, because do you think that maybe that could be kind of like an antiquated
We got him going
viewpoint?
again.
Because, like, once again, if somebody can make the salary of somebody who has to get up every day and work 12 hours a day doing some quote unquote hard work, if they can make the salary in their living room, you can say that's incompetent in today's world. Like, I think the definition, because us as black men, we have a thing where if we're not working hard for a dollar, we just seem to think that
That's-
it's not the dollar's not valid. You know what I'm saying? Like that's why I never really got on the OnlyFans shit. They making $100,000 a year.
I should have
shaking
got on
ass.
OnlyFans.
I'm like,
Hey,
during
put
quarantine,
A Hill's
It's
comment up
niggas.
there.
It's niggas who have to work 16 hours a day would never see that bread. So
Since you work,
being
God
competent.
bless them.
Okay, no, go ahead.
But it's incompetent to have the thought process. How long does that last?
Oh my God.
See, we're talking about whole shit as a career, as a lifelong career.
Ramil,
That,
you
as
want
long as that
elephants
pussy
in this
works, that
category.
shit can last. As long as that pussy turn on, as long
I agree with what Ramil's saying
as
on
long as
this
that
part
pussy
of the
turn up, that
conversation.
shit
Yeah.
they can do that shit forever. They can have a
Yeah.
good long
But
career.
there will be no Me Too movement then. And we
That's
wouldn't
part
be
of the
here
Me
with
Too
Johnny Depp
movement. That's
and
part of
Amber
the Me
Heard.
Too movement.
It don't work no more.
Yeah.
I don't know. Ramil, you handle this with.
Nah, I'm not even. I'm just
Cleo,
trying
please
to.
stay out of this.
Yeah.
What you say? That's all right, honey. You sitting up here talking about something you don't even know what it means to be competent and incompetent, honey.
I'm out of that. I'm out of that.
I
All
done
right.
finessed you out of a
Right.
G, and you talking about something I'm
So
incompetent.
am I going? So do I get
Danny
to
said he
finish
got a little
my?
stripper. Yeah, you just. My bad. Go ahead.
Yeah,
Do I
Dr.
get
Thunder,
to
go
finish
ahead.
my final
Go
word?
ahead. Finish your final word, Dr. Thunder.
He always, always starting some shit.
So
Go ahead,
anyhow, but like I was saying, I mean, I think it's a good thing to have a healthy fear of women, because a woman,
God.
I forgot we was on that. My bad.
because a woman can make an accusation, a woman can do all kinds of things that can totally jam and destroy your life. You know, I'm a church musician, I'm an academic, and it wouldn't take that much for someone to be able to make some sort of accusation. And I think that's why people need to protect themselves. And if need be, I certainly encourage my students to do so, that you should document, you should video interactions with folks, especially if you think there's anything suspect that potentially could happen.
Can I ask you a
You
question,
gotta
Dr.
listen to your.
Duncan?
Go ahead.
Do you have a prenup?
No.
So,
No prenup.
all right. So then you talking about something, you scared of women, but you don't have a prenup. So I think you're acting with incompetence. If you talking about men need to protect themselves, honey.
Yeah, you're not.
Well, I'm
you're
not afraid of my
picking-
wife.
Oh,
I'm not afraid of my wife. I'm
oh.
afraid of other women.
Why? You should be afraid of your
I
wife.
just said
That's
why.
the woman you should
I
be afraid
just
of.
said why.
damn.
No. I'm not afraid of my wife. I'm afraid of other women.
Listen.
And I just told you why. And that would actually be more of a reason for me to be afraid of other women. Because I don't have a prenup.
No, it's my.
Yeah, exactly.
Don't, first of all, if you go with a motto, if you go with a
motto,
motto, if you go with a motto of you don't trust nobody and you lead with that, so ain't no, you're afraid of women, but you're not afraid of a burglar or something. So it don't matter who it is, man or woman. You don't trust nobody.
Damn.
Well, I trust my wife.
Okay.
It's an ongoing saga between Dana and Dr. Thunder's wife that's been going on here. Years later, Ramil's keeping track of it.
I'm done. I know, man. Look, hey, I'm saying Dana. I mean, shit. I
Listen,
might kind of agree
you
with
trust
that.
you trust your wife. You don't have a prenup until, and
I
you just
wanna
got to give a
say
half of
in my last
everything.
statement that I'm definitely
I don't think you should say a
because I
last
made
statement.
Ramil and Dana come together as one on a panel. So thank y'all. You're welcome.
That shit was
You know,
like for
unless
like 10
God
seconds.
sent me.
Come on now. That shit was like 10 seconds.
Doesn't matter. It counts.
All right, the real Dana, and in the next 2 weeks, we will address that thing about slavery, okay? Slavery, chattel slavery, get down to the nitty gritty and the definitions and how it, all that kind of stuff. The slave master dialectic, we're going to call it, okay? Is the master incompetent, okay?
But LAR got to be on the panel.
LAR's going to be on the panel to kind of say, hey, there's a reason why the master.
Okay, great.
Look, what? there's
great. LAR just gave us the thumbs up. He'll be
excellent. That's 2 weeks though. 2 weeks, not next week.
2
right?
weeks, not next
Right.
week.
Yeah. Okay, cool. Look, ladies and gentlemen, there's a legit argument for LAR side and for the other side. In other words, like, look, a master tends to depend on the slave for something, right? Okay, it's not crazy to say, hey, therefore that's something that a master has to
right
watch
now.
out
We can start it right now. We got time. Let's go.
First of all, I have a better idea. We
Give me a
have
sneak
teams.
peek real quick.
gonna
LAR
have-
said.
We're going to have teams, me and Ramil against LAR and Dr. Thunder.
All right,
In 2
good.
weeks.
And the Royal Rumble right there. Okay. On LAR side, we have the fact that, look, because the slave is the slave, they have to be more creative. They have to learn how to use like the tougher parts of meat and make things like ribs and all that kind of stuff. They have to come up with all the dances and they deal with the hardships of life actually. So they end up having more flavor. The master is missing flavor and blah, blah. So there are many ways, okay, that you can kind of go back and forth with this. So hope you guys are ready in 2 weeks. But Dana, okay, we've gone through a lot of stuff on this particular topic, okay? With regards to men's responsibility, you started out saying, look, men have a particular kind of weakness. Some are more competent than others. This word competence keeps coming up in terms of how to manage this transactional nature of what they want from women. So, hey, here's this woman. She's 20 years younger. Okay, so women know this, so they're going to use it. And these people have money in this particular case, Amber Heard and Mr. Johnny Depp. Otherwise, it's not a particularly great case to use as a template for the kinds of unfairness that men say that they experience. Generally speaking, is kind of what I remember you haven't said so far. But final thoughts on this whole thing, Dana.
Well, women are going to still continue to do what they got to do to get what they want from men. Men are going to oblige and give it to women because, y'all go for beauty. And me personally, I need to get on my grind. I've been lazy this past year. That's why I'm in the gym now, because I need to start getting back into
Trying to get a high value man.
No, I already have that. I need to start getting back into the habit of finessing, because next week, this is why I won't be available next week, because Formula One would be in Miami. This is the first year they're in Miami, and Miami's popping. So I should have been planning a year ago for me to be at the GP, the Grand Prix in Miami, in the VIP booth. Of course, I'm not going to pay for it. So women, they plan ahead. Smart women, they plan ahead. Who can I get to finesse to get whatever. And so that's never going to end. What it could be Grand Prix, it could be whatever. That's never going to end. And you should do it. But as far as this Johnny Depp, Amber Heard, I just feel as though you should be fair. You should not be vindictive. Say that's the problem when you are being unfair and vindictive. There's nothing wrong with finessing a man. That's our nature, to manipulate and finesse, but don't
100%.
be vindictive.
Yeah. It's like, okay, gotta use men. Don't let men use you.
Yes.
It's a statement that I find it kind of encapsulates,
but you have to be a lady about it. You have to be a classy woman about it, and that's the problem. A lot of people.
Yeah. So
is that how you got to high value man, by doing that, by finessing?
Well,
like
I mean,
Ramil,
I had several, but the fact is that it's not to keep them there. Like you gotta behave a certain way.
That's cool. I'm with it. I'm glad.
She's got all
she
the
keeping it
high
100.
Yeah, but I've messed up because look, I want my rodcaster and I kind of had that slip through my finger. So I be messing up sometimes, and it's like, listen, let me regroup and get it together. And yes, I finesse. I just need to be more consistent.
Hey, that's what's up. Hey, can't be mad at it. Shit.
All right, Ramil.
She said that's with a straight face too.
That's what I'm saying.
Because I'm serious.
Y'all shouldn't be surprised. Why are you surprised, Doctor? I mean, this is
because women say no, they're lying.
Look, that's why I love Dana. I like Dana. She that's why she keeps on going back to this panel every week.
I'm on the very.
Okay.
Oh, let's go. Let's go.
Look. Wait.
Unless guys can get checked.
Wait. This shirt I worked out.
Ties and offering.
But the shirt I got under it. Also, baby.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, because she keeps it 100. Now she's a stickler for certain kind of minutia sometimes that you're like, well, Dana, why are you dying on this hill? But that's a separate thing. That's good for show business as well. Okay, that's also good for show business. But
it's not show. No, it's real life. No, don't try to. No, it's real life. She finesses in real life. No, don't try to cover it. It's not show business, guys. Don't try to protect it.
I just said I finesse. Like,
I'm not talking about you. I'm talking about I trying to, trying to put a delicacy over it. No, there's no delicacy. No, that was real. Shit.
Hey, she's telling you what? Okay, yeah, right from the horse's mouth. Right? Ramil, final thoughts on this whole thing here. Okay, we came in. The first question that I asked you was, okay, what is the whole point of this case, right? Like, why are people paying attention to this? And you're saying, look, it basically is gonna red pill some people in terms of the Disneyland fairy tale view of women, regardless of whether or not Amber Heard is the average woman. And then LAR made us remember that, you know what? If we look at our experience with women, and Dana also kind of reminded us of this as well, that, you know what, the Amber Heards are not that rare, that kind of behavior. It may be a composite, right? Maybe it wasn't exactly the same woman, but we've seen a little bit of this and a little bit of that. Maybe you didn't have the whole chocolate factory on the bed situation, right? I've never seen that one. Okay, no one ever shit on my bed. Okay? Yeah, but
she said the dog did it.
Hold on 1 second. 1 second. Ike,
yeah,
you should acknowledge the super chatters before Ramil says his thing. Acknowledge the super chatters. You got a couple.
Yes, there's our business. I believe that's what it is, right? It says salute Ike, Ramil, LAR, Dr. Thunder, and maximum shade to Dana. No, they didn't say that. I'm the one that's just. Anyways, and then we have what does this say? Raisin Girl, $3. I don't think I've seen you around here before, so if you have not subscribed to the channel, please go ahead and subscribe if you like these kinds of topics where we take things and we treat them seriously in terms of rationality and evidence and whatnot, but we also have a good time. We have fun. We look at all the different areas and all the different aspects, and we have a respectable conversation. Thank you very much. Round of applause. Now back to Ramil. Okay, LAR reminded us that, look, Amber Heard ain't that rare, right? Men need to play the game understanding that, look, if you're gonna sacrifice, okay, if you're gonna do something like this and you're not getting the respect, okay, from the society or from the women in general, then just go super transactional, pump and dump, right? Build a. And I'm saying things you didn't say, okay, but things I imagine will be your conclusion. But what is your conclusion, Ramil?
Hoes are winning.
Well,
Hoes is winning.
Yes, they are. Yes, they are. You know, when I first came in this, what everyone called us years ago, people will always say I was too extreme. Even other guys, even other manosphere guys, you know, when the manosphere was going strong. Oh, you kind of extreme. What do you mean you want to video everything? This is before like MeToo hit its stride. I was saying, you know, if you got something going on, have contracts. And just like it's nothing wrong with a woman finessing a man, there's nothing wrong with a man being ruthless with how he deals with women. There's nothing wrong with cutting them off. There's nothing wrong with pump and dump. There's nothing wrong with leaving them stranded at the gas station when they act up. All right, there's nothing wrong with treating them like how they should be treated. All right, that's all I'm with. It's the game. It's the game. Johnny Depp was a little slow to the game. He thought that female actually loved him. Good thing he recorded a lot of stuff, but you know, you shouldn't trust anybody. I'm gonna have to agree with Dan again, even your wife. You know what I mean? It's all anybody can flip. This is dangerous times we're living as a man, especially if you legally attach to somebody. Be very careful because every day is a new day. Anybody can change. That's what I've learned in life, and I just think we should be more prepared as men. Stick together as men. Stop believing women. I don't believe no woman. I don't care what she says. I don't care. I mean, I gotta see the video. Women say she been raped. I gotta see the video. They got videos of everybody getting their head blown off and stuff like that. No, I gotta see it. I'm not believing nothing. Too many men have lost their careers, livelihood, families because of these allegations. So that's where I'm at with it. I'm very ruthless when it comes to this. Yeah, we got for men. Don't be scared. Don't be scared to be ruthless, and don't be scared to preserve yourself. That's where I'm at with it.
Shout out to another super chat. Yes, Ramil agreeing with Dana twice.
It's breaking news. Breaking news, honey. While we talk about Amber Heard fires her PR team days before she's set to testify after a torrent of bad headlines, honey. Next week is going to be, this week going to be fire. I'm going to be tuned in, honey.
All right, the media outrage
Shut
and
up,
outpouring
LAR.
out there is contributing to affecting the case. But Dottie Gal then with the £2, okay, £2. That's times 1.3, I believe. Okay, that's about $3 and some change dollars. Okay, thank you very much for the contribution.
Real quick, I'm gonna start coming up again because y'all be catching me in the middle of my weed naps. I gotta wake up like, oh shit, I gotta get on the show. You know what I'm saying? So my weed naps is between like 1 and 3:30. So, but I be getting in. But so I'm gonna start coming where I know it's unprofessional. You know what I mean? But I gotta get back on.
Yeah, it's okay. You may want to move the nap a little later. Maybe get a little extra workout, a little hydration going first, and then you can start blowing on the show, but just turn off the camera, take a puff, turn on the camera. You know how it is.
By the way, the show will be on my channel next week, 4 p.m. Eastern Standard Time.
Indeed.
And come back. Make sure you come back and check us out.
Indeed, and also come check out my channel. Okay, after you click that subscribe button and click that bell button twice, come back and check out my channel. Me and Dr. Thunder are actually going to be here on Tuesday getting ish done. Tomorrow on this very channel, I'm going to be evaluating some things on macro financial type stuff. Don't worry about it. I did a good video about it on Tuesday where looking at technical analysis, right? Those of you who know anything about crypto or any charts of watching prices and where to predict where the price is going so that you can buy low and sell high. Some of you might be interested in that, right? What are these different patterns that predict where the price is going to go? Ascending triangle, descending triangle, and also talking about fundamental analysis on the macro level. So we're going to be doing tomorrow. Okay. Dr. Thunder, you got Thunder's Thoughts next week. I also know you like promoting that. So what is going on Thursday at Thunder's Thoughts as we take this out?
Actually, the next 2 Thursdays, I've got gigs. Actually, I'm playing with the legendary Johnny Mathis on Thursday.
Mm-hmm.
So I've got a gig with him, and the following Thursday I also have a gig. So I won't have the Thunder's Thoughts those 2 Thursdays, but I've been posting a lot recently, and posting some, reposting some things. So come and check that out. I'll probably take a few things out of the vault and post those. And so thanks for giving me that opportunity to plug that. But yep.
All right. Go check out Dr. Thunder's channel. Good conversation with Bernard Riley. A good couple of conversations with Bernard Riley, and has been posted recently. And also go check out my conversation with Bernard Riley on Sunday, where I talked about 4 things that men need to do in order to globalize and thrive, in order to globalize and not get swept in the dustbin of history, in order to globalize, not lose your identity, not lose your economic power, right? Basically get that passport, get that international bank account, look into investments abroad, and then actually travel in there and start participating in the global market, because it's globalize or die. Okay, it's not like, oh, you're gonna act like, you know, these cities in the Rust Belt and put your head in the sand, you're gonna get wiped out. Nobody cares. Okay, the capital is moving, globalization is happening. It hasn't stopped happening. And you get on this wave, get on the bandwagon, or you're gonna get swept away. That is my scare tactic. That's my pitch. All right, ladies and gentlemen, until next time. We are out. Peace. Thank you very much to the panel. Until next time. Bye.
In the den of iniquity, vicinity no pretty, calamity fi hit we any moment, what a pity. Tomorrow never certain, what was behind the curtain, the face of evil lurking with that shifty eyes averting. It's not a steady bubble, that either pop or topple, many will fall and stumble, let the dozers gather rubble. From LA to Colorado, Guinea to Burkina Faso, cannons could reach the towers and the troops will storm the castle. I say, run, come, make we get it. Because the peace that is bestowed upon the meek is overrated. So run, come, make me get it. Calling all your daughters and your sons, we come forget it. I say, run, come, make me get it. Because the peace that is bestowed upon the meek is overrated. Lord, run, come, make me get it. Calling all your daughters and your sons, we come forget it. With the rubble steady rising, and hearts are compromising. Convictions here are stifling, making evil appetizing. The fists are steady forming, and countenance is falling. Defenses are withdrawing, possibilities are falling. In these your circumstances, evil will make advances. Pick up your sword and lances, and be sure to take your stances. Victory is never promised, the battle is upon us. Gather the brave and honest, and the righteous in your corners.
Shout out to D-Rock Dan for the super chat. Okay, I want to acknowledge that on our way out. Okay, when you give a super chat like this, I got to go ahead and read it like that with a round of applause, like the third by a god. Woof. Shout out to KS on this one. Okay, peace, the real Dana. All right. Mr. Selector, keep coming with the grooves and read him sweet as nectar. I come feature at this one again, Mr. Selector. Keep spreading niceness upon the land and we'll respect ya. The people on the pavement, they attempt to measure, while the faceless masses will begin to feel the pressure. Mr. Selector. I'm saying?